Every font you read is tricking your brain. And once you see it, I don't think you'll ever unsee it. Here's the letter T in Helvetica, my favorite font. Both lines look exactly the same thickness, right? Well, they're not. They're actually completely different sizes. This optical phenomenon is called anisotropy, which simply means things can look different depending on the direction you view them, even if they are mathematically the exact same. Here's another example. These squares, triangles, and circles are all on the same height on this grid. At least that's what it looks like. But if we zoom in, you'll see the circles and triangles extend above and below the grid lines. They're not actually the same height as the squares. Our brain is being tricked. Now watch what happens if I make them all mathematically the same height. They suddenly look small, like they don't belong on the grid. To make circular or pointed shapes appear the same size, designers overshoot or undershoot these shapes over the grid lines. And this is exactly what happens in typography. All rounded letter forms overshoot the X height line by a certain amount. And pointed letters like A or V also overshoot, but they also undershoot, which is going below the X height line for both A, V, O, anything that's rounded or pointed. And the reason we do this is because if we don't, they would look like shrunken letters. Now it sounds impossible, but you can actually see it for yourself. Just zoom into any font on your computer. I mean, really zoom in. Take a measuring tape and have a look. Some of these illusions are very strange. Let's take the horizontal and vertical one again. I've got a ruler. If I draw a line that is like roughly, let's do 8 centimeters or 8 inches. And then if I do another line that is perfectly vertical, this is the exact same distance. However, that vertical line actually now looks longer than the horizontal one, even though it's the exact same distance. There's a theory that might explain why this is happening to our brains. It's called the carpentered world hypothesis. The carpentered world hypothesis suggests that in the urban environments we live in the Western world, we're surrounded by rectilinear architecture. So everything's tall, long, it has boxes, it's all rectilinear. Straight lines are everywhere, which is not normal when it comes to the natural world. And because we are surrounded by this architecture, we actually perceive lines that are vertical as longer, even though the horizontal line it's sat on is the same size. And this environment trains our brains to perceive vertical lines as longer than horizontal ones because of the training that we've experienced in our brain in the environment we're in. And as a result, when we see a vertical line in a drawing, our brain tends to overcorrect and perceive it as longer. That's crazy. So people raised in open landscapes actually don't see this illusion happening as much. They actually say that this is very equal in length. This video is sponsored by Framer. Just like how grids bring structure and balance to logos, Framer brings the same level of professional organization to your web design workflow. We as designers, we all need websites. And our team, including myself, have been using Framer to redesign our portfolio website, and it's been an absolute blast. The main advantage of Framer is you don't need to know any coding. You don't need to be a developer, you just need to be a designer. And you can create beautiful websites like this with all the animations that you see. You don't even need to design it yourself, really. You can choose from hundreds of community designed, ready to use templates and customize them to your liking. Better yet, you can actually sell the templates that you create or your own website that you could create on Framer and earn significant income from that. So go ahead, start building your website for free. Go to framer.com/Will Paterson and use the code WILLP for a free month of Framer Pro. Here's another great example. Take a look at this serif X. It looks as though the thinner line is one continuous line going through the thicker line on an angle. But if we grid this line up, you'll notice that the thinner line actually isn't parallel where you would expect it to be. In fact, it's not a straight line at all. This is known as the Poggendorff illusion. Now, when it comes to the Poggendorff effect, this is really interesting. If I draw a rectangle, and if I draw just a faint line here, you can see that line going straight through, no problem. However, if I draw the line here and here, it actually looks like it's broken, even though the line is perfectly straight. Because this thinner line goes behind the thicker rectangle, our brain overcompensates and actually makes it think that it's broken, that it isn't actually in a straight line. So in typography, we actually have to change the way that we create the letter X and a few other characters. If I draw the letter X, like so. It's gonna look bad. He's a stumpy letter X. So we've got the thick line, and when we bring the thin line in, we can't just like go ahead and create this to be exactly, because if we did that, it would look like the line is actually broken in between. What we have to actually do is take this top line and physically move it, so it actually breaks the system and appears further down. And obviously this is an exaggeration, but to your eyes it should look a bit more clear. The main point is letter forms are lying to you. Graphic design and all these shapes, it's not real. They're all optical illusions. And as a designer, we need to know these illusions to mitigate against it, depending on who our audience is. Maybe our audience aren't in urban environments, so we have to train our brain to see shapes as more equal despite where we live. If you want to master bespoke logo type design, not be replaced by AI, and learn how to bespokely draw branded type, then I've got a masterclass for you. About a year ago, I released an online masterclass about logo type design, where you learn how to draw type, vectorize it, and present it to your clients clearly. Now, this isn't just any ordinary logo design course. Most logo design courses just teach you the basics and the fundamentals. However, this course is centered around bespoke typography, learning how to draw, learning how to actually make your type look good. Typography is one of the hardest things to learn. However, this skill not many designers have, and when you do have it, you just level up and companies want to work with you more. So take your typography to a new level. Stop using fonts for logo types and learn how to master it yourself. Go to the link in the description to get 10% off Design A card, or use this QR code. Use it with your smartphone and check out the website. Enroll today and I'll see you on there. Typography is a crazy illusion and we're all fall for it every day. Thank you so much for watching. If you learned something new, then let me know in the comments below. Also, share the video and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you in the next one. See you soon.